Yes, we're in Port Antonio where they're going to have the groundbreaking ceremony for the Broundbrook Urban Center in Portland. So we have a urban center in St. Thomas, Murphy Urban Center. Now it's time for Broundbrook Urban Center in Portland. So that is where we are right now, waiting on the groundbreaking ceremony. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mr. Holness, will be there along with other dignitaries. So we are actually on the ground right now, waiting for the function to start. So we have the Charlestown Maroon right now, entertaining the people as them enter this urban center groundbreaking ceremony.
The resources to, if some of the persons can afford it, because you know the situation that persons are in now.
This is a valid concern. However, what the Broundbrook Urban Center will provide is the ease of a one-stop shop for government services, which cuts down commuting time and cost while boosting productivity. It also significantly improves accessibility for the disabled, the elderly, and other vulnerable groups.
Because of going from one place to another place and searching from street to street, just everything under one cover that will be fine. And for older folks like myself, that will be fine.
The thing is a good move. You would see the government hold it for money, because the family have their rent rate. So everybody they want place, so that's more easy to pay the public. And so they want their road so.
Literally. What's wrong with them? Honest? Oh yeah.
That's my grandmother. That's my grandmother. Thank you. All right, where are these?
There are several things that come into consideration.
Unmarried,
that companies want to either get more equity first. This was stage there.
First come here, everything that's going clean.
Is that young helicopter?
Alright, look for how to make local shows.
A show.
The one way up right, they push even more through. So much in the sense of that. When I know later, you're going to know one part bigger than the two
And then you take that one. So we are cycling through listed, you have to go to WP. So for example, you are starting. Chances are you suggested that it was, a more preventative activity that opposed to additional damage. Hopefully that's excessive duty already. Then the chances that you will go to the next side. After consideration is the use of capital. So let's say it is that we need some form of project financing and typically we look at it because equity tends to be a little permanent. So you find that person sometimes called equity permanent capital. While a project is not permanent, only for let's say a year or two. In such a case, then we provide something. Naturally, there are some nuance there, things change depending on specifics of the building, but this is very unique things change. There are several things that
Building wealth the smart way means you have a clear mission for your money. Specific
amalgamation of services provided by the government of Jamaica and the private sector. The Broundbrook Urban Center will be a one-stop shop with provision being made to incorporate the Portland Parish Court and the Port Antonio Examination Depot into the complex. It will offer economic growth for the parish of Portland through the many employment opportunities that will be created, especially through the provision of space for the business process outsourcing, BPO industry, and the commercial.
Lord, we acknowledge that there is none like you. There is none to compare to you. You are King of kings and you are Lord of lords. And so into thine hand we commend our bodies, our souls, our spirits, and everything concerning us, because we know we belong to you. And so this evening, God, as we have gathered, Lord, to this groundbreaking ceremony, in which, oh God, your servants have come to the understanding, Lord, of the need of your children in this way. God, to build this community, Lord, in which they will be better ministered to. I pray, Holy Father, that your divine hand of grace and mercy will rest upon this, oh God, this initiative. And I pray, God, that you allow that your blessings overtake every stakeholder, God, and allow that this project never fail. And even, oh God, for this evening's proceedings, as we commit it into your hands, we pray that everything that will be said and done here, Lord, will be to the honor and to the glory of your name. We commit, oh God, this proceeding to you, because we know that only you we can put our trust in and know that all is well to all times and seasons. And so, Holy Father, we pray that your divine anointing that breaks every yoke will rest upon your children, so that, God, as they seek to fulfill your purpose, God, in this great initiative, that nothing will derail them, nothing will hinder this purpose, but God, that your divine blessing will overtake them, God, and according to the time span which is allotted, God, that things will be done and complete, oh God, so that your name will continually be glorified in this, our Jamaica land we love, because we would have seen your hand at work, and we know you have been doing it all this time. And so, Father God, for this, oh God, community that will be built, we pray, God, that your divine hand of protection will rest upon it, that no natural disaster on anything, God, the enemy will devise, will cause it to fail, but that your blessings will overtake us in all our endeavors. Spirit of the living God, be with us for the rest of this afternoon. as we commit this evening proceeding in your hand, and we tell you thanks for your presence and your blessings upon us all, as we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
The Prime Minister is on his way. He has asked us to proceed. He has recognized the heat, so we thank him. A great leader recognizes that we have to shift things. Representing the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Colin Bell. Ministers of Government present, the Honorable Darrell Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. Senator, the Honorable Alvin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. We recognize the Members of Parliament present, Mrs. Anne-Marie Action and Vaz, Member of Parliament, Eastern Portland. Mr. Robert Bobby Montague, Member of Parliament, Western St. Mary. Chinese Ambassador to Jamaica, His Excellency Ambassador Chen Dao-Jiang, and other members of the Diplomatic Corps. Councillor Rohan Vassal, Deputy Mayor of the Portland Municipal Corporation, today representing the Mayor, His Worship, Mr. Paul Thompson. And fellow councillors of the Portland Municipal Corporation. Custos Rotulorum of Portland, the Honorable Lincoln Taxter. Our Permanent Secretary present, Mrs. Arlene Williams, Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Also recognizing our partners in the Broundbrook project, Mr. Littleton Tammy Shirley, Chairman of Factories Corporation of Jamaica, who will shortly be the Honorable Littleton Tammy Shirley, as he will be bestowed with the nation's third highest honor in October. Mr. Shirley, Honorable Shirley. The Honorable Michael Lee Chin, Chairman of the National Commercial Financial Group and the Godfather of Portland. Also in attendance from NCB, Bruce Bowen, CEO, National Commercial Bank, and Angus Young, CEO, NCB Cap Markets. Our partners, Barita, Chairman Mark Myers. And we are shortly expecting Executive Officer of Barita, Ramon Small Ferguson. We'd also like to welcome the Charlestown Maroons, who have been entertaining us. Directors, managers, and the hard-working and dedicated staff of the Factories Corporation. And very, and most importantly, the residents of the Portland communities near and far. Members of the media, we welcome you. Other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. When they say Portland hot, Portland is on fire. Welcome to this groundbreaking for the Broundbrook Urban Center. My name is Rochelle Cameron. I'm a director of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, and I will be leading you through today's proceedings. At this time, I'd like to welcome Councillor Rohan Vassal, Deputy Mayor of the Portland Municipality, to bring welcome.
Why am I nervous? I don't know. Maybe it's because of all the distinguished guests, maybe the lovely ladies, maybe, or it is a major development which is happening here in Portland today. I think so. So Portland residents, Portland MPs, every stakeholders, you give yourself a round of applause. The Mayor, Paul Thompson, is unavoidably absent, and he sent his best wishes. Permit me to express my profound gratitude for the honor and privilege of participating in this function today, not only because of its applications for the overall development of Port Antonio and the rest of the parish, but also because of the significant enhancement it promises to bring to the aesthetic appearance of this town as we continue with our quest to reposition it as a major destination for tourists and other visitors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is well known fact that the road to national development is the development of communities, and this project, which is being introduced here today, will on completion play an important, infinite role in the town and its environs. It will also make better organized and efficient services currently provided by a number of government agencies and business organizations operating in the space. Under this project, the Broundbrook Industrial Estate will be redeveloped into an international business complex where there will be an aggregation of services provided by a number of government agencies and private sector agencies. As the Mayor of Port Anthony, which I represent here today as the Deputy Mayor, I am very excited and expectant about the project, and the Portland Municipal Corporation is fully committed to playing its part to ensure its successful implementation as well as the maximization of its positive impact in the communities when it becomes operational. How can I say this? No amount of accommodations and expressions of appreciation to Prime Minister, Most Honorable Andrew Holness, the Government of Jamaica, and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is too high for taking the initiative to implement steps in the advancement of government's policy to effect economic growth and prosperity in communities island-wide. This project, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, will go a far way in the appeasing not just the Port Anthony residents, but many persons from other communities of the parish who well felt for a long time that Portland has been neglected in respect of developmental opportunities. On behalf of the Portland Municipal Corporation, I extend heartiest congratulations to the Factories Corporation of Jamaica and the National Insurance Funds for combining their resources and efforts to formulate this project, which will not only be a game changer in respect of service provision in Port Anthony, it will also serve a major catalyst for long-term development of our parish. His Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, may you and this government continue the good work, bringing love and prosperity to this parish and all Jamaicans, and always remember, God is the wind beneath your wings. Thank you.
On January the 5th, 1951, when I was 2 days old, my mother, who's an orphan, and who, when she had me, she was 18, and she was unemployed. So, if you, behind, up the hill there's a Port Antonio Hospital. And she had no job. She was adopted. She and her son were adopted by the helpers of the local supermarket here in Port Antonio. And she walked with her child from the Port Antonio Hospital past this site. And past this site, past that beautiful building, glance to your left, please. Glance to your left. Past that beautiful building and walked another 100 yards to her adopted home with her son, Michael. So my first home was Broundbrook. So to come here today is an emotional moment. And those who made it successful, Prime Minister, thank you. Chairman, Tanny Shirley, Honorable Tanny Shirley, thank you. Minister Vaz and Marie, thank you. Minister Vaz, Darrell, thank you. Minister Aubin Hill, thank you. All other Chairman Myers for being an equity partner, thank you. Thank you very much. My dear mom would never believe what she's about to see. So thank you very much for being in Port Antonio and specifically Broundbrook. As I said, well, in 2005, there is a beautiful courthouse, a historical courthouse in the town of Port Antonio. City of Port Antonio. And this beautiful townhouse, a historical Victorian building, was burnt out. So it was laying derelict in the city, in the middle of the town. So I went to Mr. Tony Hilton, another godfather to Port Antonio, who was chairman of the Port Authority of Jamaica at the time. And I said to Mr. Hilton, sir, this building is a magnificent edifice. Well, it's just lying derelict. Please, would you allow NCB to renovate it so it becomes a truly historical heritage building? And what we will do is, would you give us a piece of land outside of town in Broundbrook to build a modern day courthouse that will be of the quality that if you lifted it up and parachuted it into Washington, it would look as if it belongs there. So take a look at what you see. So, Broundbrook, and now today we're here witnessing the expansion. And by the way, the reason for doing that then, 2005, was to shift the center of gravity of Port Antonio, because there is no parking there in the city for a courthouse, and the development was coming. So we wanted to shift the center of gravity. So we came to this no man's land called Broundbrook and built this magnificent edifice. And one of the reasons for building it is because when you come into Port Antonio, you don't expect it. You bust the corner, the Norwich corner, that corner up there, you see this magnificent building, you say, oh my gosh, where am I? Am I in Washington? Am I in Denmark? No, you're in Port Antonio. So what we wanted to do also, build an edifice that every citizen of Port Antonio, every citizen of Jamaica, to say, you know what? I don't have to accept local standard. What was then local standard? I don't have to accept that. I can aspire to world-class standard. That's the reason why that building, we can parachute it into any city and it will look like it belongs. So it's an inspiration. It was built to be an inspiration to uplift standards of expectations of our citizens. That was so two reasons for building it. Uplifting standards of expectations of who we are. And secondly, to shift the center of gravity of Port Antonio, because growth was coming and growth is now here. So thank you very much for all of you being here today, to contribute to this moment. My mom would not believe what she said. Well, she is seeing it. So thank you very much. And Tani, I really appreciate the energy you put into these projects, because without that energy, the execution would not have happened. So we are behind you. NCB is 100% behind you. And we just appreciate what you have done. You are moving Jamaica forward, and that is what this project represents. It represents public-private partnership, because that's the only way we can together build a better Jamaica. Thank you very much.
So as Member of Parliament for one of 4 constituencies in the East, meaning St. Thomas and Portland, and the only minister on the eastern end of the island, I'm proud to be here at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Broundbrook Urban Center. This administration, under the leadership of Holness, has created greater attention and directed more capital investment and infrastructure upgrades in Portland and St. Thomas than any other administration in the history of Jamaica. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, the reason for this is not political, it's economical. That's the difference. And I come from a standpoint where I'm not going to talk about Broundbrook because everybody has spoken and will continue to speak about it. I'm going to speak about my journey, which started in 2007 when I became Member of Parliament for Western Portland. And when I came to Portland in 2007, Portland was known as a forgotten parish. Both Portland and St. Thomas, when you mention the two names, people laugh and say, where that is? Will you still have road to go down there? That's a fact. And I took my time and I have worked assiduously to be able to stand here today and speak about some of the meaningful achievements that Portland has benefited from. I want to indicate very clearly that it is easy to have a vision. That's the easiest part. It is executing that vision and connecting the dots, which is why I'm going to repeat what I've repeated several times before. There is no Prime Minister that has had a vision, and all of them in the past that have been able to connect the dots, where you can see the meaningful changes as you drive around Jamaica, the length and breadth of Jamaica. I want to say that I was a lonely man in Portland between 2007 and 2019, because at that point I was the only JLP representative. And I don't know what got into my wife that decided after coming on the campaign trail with me in Western Portland that she was going to go to East. Well, the rest is history. Because from 2019, when she won the by-election after the unfortunate death of my friend Linford Bloomfield, she has not looked back, and she is unstoppable. And if I say so, you must know it's true. Now this lady is so passionate about Portland that from the forgotten parish, there is nowhere that I go in Jamaica that people who have visited Portland and who have not visited Portland don't know about Portland. They know every single solitary thing that's happening in Portland and all the good things that are happening in Portland.
Please welcome MP Eastern Portland, Mrs. Amory Vaz.
My Eastport, I want you to put your hands together and give the Prime Minister of Jamaica and our special guest a big round of applause. And then I want you to clap on yourself for coming out here and being a part of this historic day. On April 16, 2019, took my oath of office as a Member of Parliament for my beloved Portland Eastern constituency. But my love for Portland began long before, as I've been a resident here for over 21 years. And my commitment to this parish will continue long after I have left representational politics. Portland for decades have suffered from lack of representation, resulting in lack of development and lack of attention towards public services. We have started the process to change that, and you are all here today witnessing a part of the change with this historic development. The unprecedented multi-million-dollar road improvement taking place is the catalyst for this. There is so much potential for our small businesses. We have started the process to improve that. As you come in, you would have noticed that exceptional local products on sale. Your support to them today means that from the get-go, this project will be providing economic benefit to our people. There is so much potential for our youths. And let me pause here because I want to speak directly to my youths. Now is the time to upskill. The time to get certified, as this development is already providing jobs and will bring hundreds more during construction, and as you heard the minister just said, afterwards with new and expanded businesses that will be operating here. This Michael Andrew-led Holness government has provided the vehicle for upskilling through hard trust, free of cost up to associate level 4. So there's no excuse for you not to be certified in preparation for the opportunities to improve your lives and make your dreams come true. I want the trend of my people leaving Portland to go elsewhere to seek economic benefits, because I need all of you here to build Portland the most beautiful parish in Jamaica and the safest parish in Jamaica. There are so many beautiful attractions that can boost the economy. So we have started the process to improve them, especially fixing roads to ensure access so that the spotlight remains on them and shine even brighter. Mr. Prime Minister, Broundbrook have a buzz. Portland have a buzz. There is a burning desire for our beloved parish to receive the infrastructure and investment needed to maximize our full potential. This 148,000 square feet project is a game changer. This development will open doors for businesses and employment opportunities while addressing some serious challenges that we have that were mentioned before, such as traffic congestion, lack of adequate parking, and accessibility for disabled and Chairman, I am happy to hear that there have been overwhelming interest to acquire space in this development. We are happy for the new business to come and expansion of existing here. Growth, we said. So for me today, I am proud to stand here representing my people, breaking ground for a legacy project that will, without a doubt, change the lives of residents and boost the economy. Can someone say transformational? Because this is definitely what this project is. Today, I feel like a woman giving birth to a child she has nurtured in her tummy for 9 months. Only in my case, it has been 5 years, Chairman, that I have been trying to give birth. I understand, Chairman, that we had to get this thing right, because it will be a template for other parish development. This development is part of a master plan, and we Portlanders are not into any chaka-chaka, so we have to get it right. But as you say now, our foot is on the gas. We are going to do road to ensure that this Broundbrook Urban Center is completed on time and within budget. And let me tell you something, I have no doubt that this will happen, because the pace at which this place was prepared in the last 2 weeks for this groundbreaking is nothing short of shocking, to say the least. I commend FCJ, the action team, my East Portland family members, China Harbour, and all who are involved. Gavin, Kunte, for letting us be here today. You cannot imagine what this place looked like 2 weeks ago. They called me. We want to thank this Andrew Michael Holness-led government of Jamaica for this vision and for investing in our people and our parish. This is action in motion. We are working assiduously for our collective prosperity. They call me action, and for a reason. Construction is going to start. Employment is happening. Economy is growing. My people and I are overjoyed, Mr. Prime Minister. Special thanks to my action team led by Dwayne Stevenson. Without you, my team, there's no me. Thank you all for coming, especially my Prime Minister, and for being a part of this historic day. I might add before I close that this parish is my Prime Minister's favorite parish. He don't want to say it out loud more time, but I can say it for him. And I see Bobby Montague right there. He would not miss this, because enough time in spent in Portland, officially and under the quiet. The by-election have created a family outside of Portland, and they have never left. Many come here under the cover of night, and some come in the day, but they have never left Portland since 2019. This parish is the place to be. This parish, the beauty alone is enough. So, press gas, because Broundbrook have a buzz.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the very dedicated, hard-working taskmaster, Littleton Tanny Shirley, soon to be the Honorable Littleton Tanny Shirley. So today we call him the Honorable Tanny Shirley. He serves as the chairman of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica and has championed the development across Jamaica. Moran Bay Urban Center, ground has been broken, construction is going on, and today, Portland, we break ground. Please, a very warm, loud, roaring, welcome applause to the Honorable Littleton Tanny Shirley.
More equipment, more equipment.
Master of Ceremony, my fellow director, Rochelle Cameron. Give her a round of applause. She's known as Jamaica's Miss Personality. Prime Minister, who I hear is about to arrive, let me use the opportunity to welcome him. I want, because my speech starts to be short, I don't want to undo that beautiful welcome of our Master of Ceremony. But it would be remiss of me not to point out my few friends. Ministers, government, I see my good friend Alvin Hill there, Mr. Darrell Vaz, the hard-working
hard-working Mrs. Anne-Marie Vaz, my good friend, Honorable Michael Leachy. We speak and message WhatsApp almost every day. So friend, I see my good friend Mark Myers and my new friend, Ambassador Ching, right? And I also see Burrito, new CEO and head honcho, Mr. Ramon Ferguson. Pick up everybody. It would hard for me not to start out to say, I greet you all and I greet you well. It is indeed a pleasure to be here today. A very proud chairman of Factories Corporation of Jamaica Limited and chairman of the new formed company Broundbrook Urban Centre Limited to break ground for this very, very important development. In fact, this is Project 2.0 of our mandate from our portfolio minister and Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, best known as the visionary and the builder. Please give him a round of applause, even if he's not here as yet. 5 years ago, in 2019, I had the privilege to be at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Mark Bay Urban Centre in St. Thomas. I know the media is here, and it has been the center of influence, not only in Jamaica, but in the wider world, the diaspora, who have so many Jamaicans living abroad. The Mark Bay project is the brainchild and vision of our Prime Minister to create a new urban centre concept that would facilitate a one-stop for both public and private sector businesses, the first in its kind in Jamaica. These entities would allow to operate in a facility where there is discipline, social order, security, and efficiency in not only how private sector does business, but how the public sector ought to be doing business. The Prime Minister's vision is for these entities to be housed in cutting-edge facilities that will be and can be replicated all parishes serving the people of Jamaica. It took a little while to get off the ground because we had to ensure that all the regulatory approvals were in place, and I have all my head of agencies here, and let me give them a round of applause. They have been very supportive. We had to have all the I's, as you know, were dotted, and the T's, as you know, were crossed. Then came COVID-19 pandemic, and it happened. Live and direct it happened. But I'm proud to say that the Mark Bay project is now 70% complete. Big yourself about it. We had a project completion date of September 24, but due to a delay, the new completion date is December 2024 for the Mark Bay Urban Centre. What caused the delay? Hear from the horse's mouth first. We experienced an issue with the impending relocation of the JPS substation, which is located on the site. This caused a delay in construction activities and floor blocks of buildings. Is the Prime Minister here now? Can we officially pause and have me please welcome?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we welcome the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, we just pause as the Prime Minister exits his vehicle and makes his way.
I hear it not.
school. The way Portland people talented. Portland, it beautiful, talented, it's safe. I don't know what you're gonna do. Action and we now go home. We're gonna move to Portland. So often we look beyond our shores to describe visionary leadership. But as a Jamaican people, we get to experience and live history where we have a visionary leader, a man of commitment. He has committed to building out infrastructure in Jamaica, consider it done. He has committed to digitizing Jamaica, consider it done. He has committed to providing housing, educational opportunities, and economic growth. And we get to live in a time where Jamaica is experiencing unprecedented economic growth. We do not need to look beyond our shores. Right here, we have a great leader, a visionary leader. And ladies and gentlemen, as we get to our feet to welcome to the stage the most honorable Andrew Holness, our Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Rochelle, for that rousing welcome. I need to have you do that at another place. First, let me commend the performances. I've been to many events, as you can imagine, and I've seen many school performances. And oftentimes, quietly, I reserve my disappointment because the performances don't live up to what I expect. It's not the students' fault. It's the cultural direction. It is the interpretation and the translation of our culture into action. And sometimes it is without depth. Sometimes it is performed without any talented consideration, without passion. It's not uplifting. But every performance that has graced this stage here today is a gold medal winning performance, a true representation of our culture. And I am impressed, and so I give my commendations to the performers, but I also give commendations to the teachers and the cultural directors. It is a reflection of Portland's continued preservation of what is good about Jamaica. There is something special about Portland. And it is not just the rarefied air, the proximity of your townships and residents to the sea, the beautiful, lush and verdant landscapes and hillsides. It is the people. Something special about the people. And as I drove through St. Thomas, coming in, a member of my security detail who is from the parish, he said to me, Prime Minister, as these roads are being developed, I don't want them to change the character of Portland. A very profound statement, because roads and infrastructure means access. And access means different perspectives, different people, different behaviors, different norms can come into the space and change the nature of the area. So I know that there are many Portlanders who welcome the development, but are concerned that the development, the infrastructure could change the nature of the place. This administration understands the nexus between infrastructure and culture. We understand the nexus between infrastructure and the economy. We understand the nexus between infrastructure and the security. And therefore, whatever we do, we have these considerations in the forefront of our minds when we develop policy. There is one other critical element that we must consider: the nexus between infrastructure and climate. So I want all Portlanders to understand that you have a thoughtful government that is not just eager to lay asphalt and widen roads and have people come in to this space and utilize this space. We are very cognizant and understand that infrastructure must improve the quality of life. So as I entered the town of Port Antonio, I would have been corrected if Michael Leachin were here. He would say city. We're not quite there yet. But as I entered the town of Port Antonio, and I saw the traffic in the town and the people moving about, bustling about, and I'm looking on their faces, everybody trying to get to their destination, make ends meet, the inconvenience of having to step off the sidewalk to walk in the middle of the road, to hop and skip garbage that may be in the road, a pothole, avoid a car. And I see the misery and inconvenience and frustration on the faces of the citizens. I see it as well when I stand in the motorcade in the roof of my vehicle, waving to people as I go by campaigning, and I see the eye contact, the hesitation. I like to see a Prime Minister, but the condition. The condition. And the experience of that condition, regardless of how I may feel that I'm achieving something, I'm doing a road here, a road there, a park here, new buildings, but my condition has not changed. And I am frustrated because I've heard promises before. I have heard sweet-talking politicians many times over, but my condition has not changed. And when I stop and I shake hands and I am embraced, and they say, "We love you, Prime Minister, we love you, God bless you," but the condition hasn't changed. It has been 40 years that the condition has been the way it has been. Portland is, as a parish, 300 years old. Portland as a parish, 300 years old. Port Antonio was about 1793, thereabout, don't quote me on it, but in the 1700s, the town of Port Antonio was established. And you know what was the basis of the town, why it developed? It developed as a port town because of the banana trade. sugar to a lesser extent, but mostly the export of banana and other fruits. And then it got further impetus as basically the first town of tourism in this region, in the Caribbean, really. And we have some historical tourism gems in this region. You know, my understanding, of course, that this is the birthplace of the famous British secret agent. Yes. I'm not talking about Bobby Montague 007. I'm talking about James Bond. With Errol Flynn, who developed this fictional character. So Portland has great roots and has contributed significantly to national development and indeed internationally as well. So it is time for the administration to pay attention to Port Antonio, to Portland, and to this entire eastern end of the island, St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Mary. Now, how do we do this? The first thing that we needed to do as an administration is to ensure that we have the resources to respond. And that meant that we had to settle the fiscal issues. And I use this big word, fiscal. In simple terms, we needed to have settled the flow of public revenues to sustain a long-term investment profile. The challenge with Jamaica is that we did not, for the last 50 years, settle the flow of public revenues sufficient to sustain long-term investments in infrastructure. That was really our issue. So we couldn't take on projects that had a long horizon for return. And I give you a perfect example. We built a marina here. I believe that was in 2003. 2003. What was the intention of the marina? It was to spark tourism and get some investments into the area. But that by itself wasn't enough. The government needed to have had the financial wherewithal to sit down and plan a full infrastructure rollout for the infrastructure investment to be meaningful in transforming the lives of people so that people can say, yes, this infrastructure is going to make the quality of my life better. So one isolated investment by itself is not going to do it. Which is why people still look at these investments and say, will it really make my life better? Because of the experiences that they have had. But what is different now? What is different now? Well, let me tell you what is different now. What is different now is that the government has made a massive investment to improve 147 kilometers of road linking Port Antonio directly to Kingston. So from Harbour View, come all the way around, you're going to have the best quality road. Number one. And it is not merely asphalt. This is what we call a utility corridor. Underneath that road are massive pipelines to carry water, fiber optic cables to carry internet, and we have realigned and upgraded the electricity utility service along the area, in addition to massive civil works investments in retaining walls, drainage, and other such works to protect the road. It's a massive undertaking. It is the largest road infrastructure development that we have undertaken in Jamaica. Stop for a moment and think that this is not a greenfield project. We could have decided to just find a new corridor for the road. We could have decided to do that. Run the road in the hill. But what would have happened if we did that? It would have killed off all the towns and residences on the old road. And then what would have happened? It would be hard to justify having built a new road, spending money to improve the old one. We decided as a government that the intention of the investment is to improve the economic and social circumstances of the people where they exist. So we have made the investment keeping the old alignment as much as possible running through towns. Now that comes with its own challenges because it's not easy to build a road that people live on. The inconveniences, the problems, all of the issues that come with it. But strategically, it is important to keep the economy of the parishes going. But, as I said earlier, we also have to consider the nexus. So that is a nexus between infrastructure and economy. But we also now have to consider the nexus between infrastructure and climate change. The historical development of our infrastructure, particularly our roads, is that they are developed to connect ports. So they run along the seashore, the coastline. And so they are always susceptible to environmental challenges. So what have we decided to do? Two things. First, those roads that have been in existence since 1793 or whenever Port Antonio was established, they have developed economic value, but they have also developed significant touristic value. Beautiful scenery and access to the beach. So we developed those for the long-term benefit of tourism. But we are also developing, as I speak, a bypass for Port Antonio that will be in the hills, which will run behind here, go through the hills for $75 million US. It is almost now going to public investment approval. Well, I believe it is at public investment approval now. And that road will take off much of the traffic that is not here for sightseeing, is not here to go into the town. They want to get about their business. So those can take the bypass road. But that bypass road is built for resilience because we have moved it off the shore. And therefore, we are giving the town of Port Antonio the opportunity to breathe. So you won't be taking traffic that is passing through or don't have business here. That bypass road will ultimately continue through the hills and connect to the 14 kilometers of road between Yallas and Harborview. So you're going to have essentially two roads. One, the main road that will carry heavy traffic, heavy volume, get you to where you're going quickly. And one, the more scenic route that is for the tourism economy, which we intend to develop coming all the way from St. Thomas, coming all the way around into Port Antonio. That's the vision, that's the long-term strategy. And every year we are building towards it. But we need to do one other thing. Having built the road, we now need to build buildings that are suitable for public use, built for purpose. And that is what we're doing, not just here in Port Antonio, but we have done it in Portmore, where we are building out the Bernard Lodge project, a massive project of over 10,000 housing solutions and an urban center. And that is underway. You can go there and see what is being done. We have done it, not talking about it, we have done it in Morant Bay. I passed it today, couldn't stop. I looked over there and I can tell you, it is coming along nicely. An entire new township, the first that we have built a township in maybe 100 years or more. The Morant Bay Urban Center. And now we're doing this small urban center, 6.68 acres of land. It will have the municipal building. It will have other government entities plus private facilities. It will be linked with the courthouse and I believe with the examination depot. I believe you have some more lands that you're looking to develop. But there is, my friends, a master plan. So this is not a chaka-chaka development. And I can tell you that because we were trying to avoid chaka-chaka-ness, it took longer than we wanted. Because as we had already completed the plans for this, I announced some other plans for Port Antonio as a whole. And I brought in a world-famous architect and urban developer. His name is Gordon Gill, a Jamaican. This is a man who has done designs for new cities in China and Saudi Arabia, Toronto, Dubai. And he's saying, I want my country to look like these places. And we brought him in, and they have done a massive development plan for the entire waterfront of Port Antonio, specifically looking at the lands owned by the Port Authority, the UDC, and other government entities. Portland is set for massive developments, but they're not going to be high-intensity, high-density developments. No, we specifically want to avoid that. We are going for high-value, low-density development, including the development of the East Harbor into a cruise shipping port. And all of that is being planned. So we are not just doing one little development and expect that one little development to spark and be the catalyst for new development. No, we have a well-thought-out, coordinated plan backed by the resources to sustain long-term infrastructure investment without interruption. That is what is different. So to my friends who expect that in one election cycle, what took 10 election cycles to create, which is the disinvestment in your infrastructure, meaning that from the building was built or the road was laid, nothing else was done. So the infrastructure is there. What do you think happened? No matter how pretty you build the house, after the first 5 years, it starts to depreciate. And if you don't invest in it, it will eventually fall down. And that is why Jamaica's infrastructure looks the way it looks. Jamaica, more than other Caribbean countries, had an earlier start in the development of our infrastructure. We had a new Kingston long before Trinidad had Trin City. We had high-quality roads long before many of the other Caribbean countries. But if you were to shoot a music video and you're looking for high quality backdrop infrastructure, you're going to have to search hard to find it in Jamaica. Because the infrastructure has run down over the last 50 years. Because we didn't have the fiscal wherewithal to sustain a long-term program of infrastructure investment. That is what is different with this government. But it is hard to communicate that to someone who for 50 years has experienced deterioration in their infrastructure. My challenge is to convince people that the government is doing the correct thing in making the infrastructure development. And the only time that they're going to be convinced is when they see it happen. So you wonder why it is that we spend so much time on a ceremony like this. It's very important. Because if there is ever a disruption in the plans that have been laid to give Jamaica that uninterrupted long-term runway of projects, we will go back to the period when the fiscal arrangements are blown, when people who don't have an understanding of infrastructure and development take policy and lead us back down the road of destruction. So it's very important that I communicate to the people what it is that we're doing. And these are not just words. Go and tour the road from Harborview, come all the way around to here and see the transformation. Go and look on the Montego Bay bypass and see the transformation. Travel on the East-West Highway from Maypen straight into Mandeville and see the transformation. Go to Bernard Lodge and see the transformation. Come to the Morant Bay Urban Center and see the transformation. Go to Portmore and see the transformation in the Resilience Park. Go to St. James and see the transformation that has happened with Harmony Park. And this is all happening all at once. When has that happened in Jamaica? I challenge the critics. I challenge the naysayers. I challenge the purveyors of negativity. When? If there is any criticism, is that we are doing too much. It is an obtuse and perverse logic that a government that is doing what it's supposed to be doing is being criticized. And I know when I speak this way, there are a lot of people that are squirming in their seats. They can't take it because they can't take the truth when the truth is told. But a lot of people feel it's politics time. I don't ready for politics time yet. We will campaign on our record of performance. And what I am busy doing is building. Whether it is a social house where a family has been improved, a housing scheme house where someone who is earning minimum wage or a little above that can purchase, or we are building new roads, bringing in new buses, bringing in new garbage trucks, building new ports. We are the government that is building Jamaica. We understand infrastructure, and this project will not be the last one. I see members of the private sector are here. We incorporate the private sector in these plans because we believe in the democratization of wealth, meaning that government mustn't own up everything. Bring in the private sector, and we said to the private sector, sell shares to the market. make the average man can say him own a piece of it. So we have a few more of these to go. We have 50 acres of land in Falmouth. Falmouth is a town that is exploding under the same pressure, and we are going to do another urban center, planning an entire new town in Falmouth. We have another 40 acres of land in Negril. We're going to do the same thing. We have lands in Old Harbour. We're going to do the same thing. We have Hopewell in Hanover, which is a bottleneck. We have put that as a priority, where we're going to build an entirely new township of Hopewell. So this government is serious about infrastructure development. We understand that infrastructure is going to change your life, improve the quality of your life. So for my brothers and sisters who have been frustrated for decades, who have not seen anything new happen in their built environment, who have to struggle through traffic, congested roads, dirty streets, and buildings that are inconvenient, I say to you, keep patience with the government. The plans are in place, the finances are in place, the technical skills are being put in place, and the programs are underway. We will fulfill the dream of Jamaica as the paradise, the developed country, the place of choice to live, work, raise your family, do business, have fun, and retire in paradise. God bless you. I love you.
Thank you very much. Remember, Broundbrook have a buzz. And ladies and gentlemen, we withstood the heat today, but we will remember the day we were a part of history. We're a part of the development of Jamaica. We're a part of the future of this great nation. Please, as we exit the tent and go towards the groundbreaking, I ask that we allow the Honorable Prime Minister to lead the entourage. He will be joined by Mr. Angus Young, Mr. to the right. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, please be reminded that as we break bread, we will break ground, and we will break bread after we break ground. Please visit our artisan village and purchase from our small business owners and enjoy the ultimate Portland experience. It is time to break ground. And ladies and gentlemen, please be reminded that as we break ground,
Let's follow the from this side. This side, yeah.
Sermon.
All right. Here to the gate.
Straight ahead first. Can we have everybody shovel at once, please? Following the Prime Minister, thank you.
All right, so everybody, shovel in the ground. Somebody has some sand on the shovel. All right, we're going to lift and hold.
Look at the cameras.
And pretend to smile. And then turn to the right. Turn.
One more.
Do it again. Do it again.
One more time. So
Do it again.
turn on it. Get some dirt on it.
Come back with the please.
Turn to the right.
Tend to smile.
Yeah.
And turn to the right.
Turn to the right. And 4. Good stuff. Very good.
Oh, hey.
Can we go in now?
Yeah. He's shooting live. Yeah, man, you're good, man.
So then see everything then done. Figure it. Hey. What is this now?
Just focus on those, put it on those same live, yeah.
It was done twice.
Yeah.
I see the crowd, but I can get around the crowd.
No, it was
Watch this.
I feel happy. I feel like $1 million. Where is this phone?
We're going, sir. More to sorry. Sorry.
What are you going to do? Where's the turn sign for the train station?
Down there that's where the phase 2 is.
Right, and then we have phase 2. We're going to do transport center. East Harbour. Going to preserve some of the historical buildings. When finished, but it's work in progress.
I've grown up watching this, so to come back and see this is actually very emotional. And this is the work that
by next year, the bypass starts up. If you're coming from this way, you would have to go into the bypass.
Come around. Wow. I'm going to do some amazing stuff.
Blessings.
Love.
Blessings. Barbara, it's so good to see you.
Great work, sir.
You must reach out to Barbara.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, man. Rachi. Come on. Rachi. That's the gunner right here. Up something on your head. No, man, no problem. You can picture that. That's the Empress. digital mapping and stuff like that.
Quick. Right, if I see any more of them.
That's a park around there. Hold on, that's why let them take all their pictures. We're good. Yeah, we're the big one, that's one.